It's time for serial viewing! Welcome and join us on the sofa, as this week we have watched Conan and the Young Warriors, a 1994 show that ran for one series for a total of 13 episodes. I wonder why it only ran for 13 episodes.
13.
Hello!
Hello.
So, Conan and the Young Warriors was actually a sequel to another cartoon called Conan the Adventurer. At the end of that, Conan had saved his family, and he thought he was done questing. However, he now has to train and protect the Chosen Ones, a trio of new young warriors who are in possession of magical starstones until they are ready to rule over all of Hyboria and defend them from the evil sorceress Sulanara. We couldn't find episode 1, which we usually watch, so this week we watched episode 5, titled Isle of the Lost. It is available on YouTube if you would like to see it. In episode 5, Isle of the Lost, the sorceress Sulanara is seeking a precious stone that has the power to transform people into mindless monsters, except they weren't mindless. This was one of my picks, and I've always wanted to watch. I've never seen it before. I hadn't heard of it before we started doing this, and I wanted to watch it because I am a huge fan of the Conan the Barbarian the movies, and I knew, especially knowing this was a mid-90s show, I knew the travesty that they would become. Let's find out if I was right.
Well, we know you were right.
No, don't let it out too soon that this is a steaming pile of shit.
I don't understand, when watching the Conan movies, and in all their nice 18 glory, anybody would go, oh, let's make kids' cartoons out of this.
Well, Conan the Adventurer was quite successful. It was well received. It ran for 65 episodes. It was critically acclaimed.
I don't remember it.
That was 92, I believe. 92, 93?
You probably, yeah. That's probably...
It wasn't like that, yeah. So anyway, that did quite well. So they spun it off to bring some youths into the show, which is where we got the children from. And then it was cancelled 13 episodes later.
I mean, this was episode 5, you said. I had no idea. I felt like they could have ended it here. Part 5, that's it. It's gone. Done. Get rid of it.
Right, let's do this in order first. So, the show opened with what felt like the longest prologue in history.
They told us exactly what was going to happen in the whole show right before it happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like watching a 2-minute trailer.
Yeah, it's a very 90s kids or 90s TV thing. Tell us what's going to happen in the episode that we're going to watch, and then spend half of the 22 minutes of the thing doing titles. Sets up the whole story.
But we've had this before, and it is literally to fill time.
Yeah,
because they have I think this was a 25-minute, half-hour show, and they had to fill that time, so they just pad.
It's 22 minutes.
At least 5 minutes of that was credits and prologue and end credits and cuts to black.
And then the actual credits carry on as the cartoon's going. So there's stuff's happening, but there's people's names all over it. So you're like, oh, that's great. I'm not looking at whoever's names they are, so what was the point in putting them in there? And I can't see what is happening in the cartoon. I struggled to stay focused on this cartoon. I got distracted a lot. I really struggled to actually finish watching it. I did put in my notes that, to be fair, as a kid, I probably would have sat there and watched this after school or whatever, but only because I was too lazy to get up and change the channel.
Why do you think you struggled?
Because it was boring. There was nothing going on. It just did not take... The only thing that kept me going was the fact that Conan was really super hot cute. But his accent was wrong.
I made a note about that it was just... Conan with an American accent is just very, very weird.
Yeah, it was, even though, weirdly, the Conan, it's only because Arnie's got an accent, but why did they just not keep his accent? Why is it not? I mean, Arnie would have been too expensive to do it in the 90s, but you know, anybody can do an Arnie accent.
Was it Casey Kasem?
No.
Sounded a bit like him, or at least one of the Transformers.
That would have made it way better. So, what's everyone's experience with Conan as a character?
I'll go first.
So yeah, go on then.
Not much. I know the movies. I know of them. I think I've seen one, and there's a comic, right? Is it based on the comic, or is it the comic come after?
No, it is actually based on a series of novels, or sorry, a series of fantasy stories written by a chap called Rover E. Howard, who wrote them in 1932.
That's a very 1932 name.
Yes, and they were published as a series of short stories in Weird Tales magazine. He went on to write, there are so many Conan books.
Wait.
It's ridiculous.
Is Weird Tales... Was that definitely someone else was in that? Was that Marvel Run?
Oh, probably. Weird Tales had anybody. 1932. I've said that now. That seems too early.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
I think Lovecraft
I
was
got
in
that wrong.
Weird Tales, right?
No, I don't think so. Weird Tales was a big deal back in the days. Are you just looking up when Conan was first written? Jennifer, could you?
No.
Oh, go on, because
okay.
So I've written down 1932, and I want to make sure I want to see if that's a typo on my part. So there have been comics, movies, TV shows, cartoons, books. So many books.
This is very fantasy. So if it was written in 1932, that's very early.
Well, the original Conan was less. There was magic in it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like this. It wasn't like what we just saw.
But
if you're to believe Wikipedia, it was published in Weird Tales from 1932.
There you go.
So the 1930s.
Just all that fantasy elements of it, even if it's like magic and stuff. That's pretty cutting edge for fantasy as a genre.
Yeah, the Conan world, Hyboria and Conan the Cimmerian and all that stuff is huge. It's got a big following. I mean, I first came to, I think Jennifer did as well. I first came to Conan via Conan the Barbarian, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and that to me, in my head, if someone says Conan, that's what I see as Conan.
I see it too.
Which is why I found the American accent very weird, because Conan's got an Austrian accent.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember Arnie with really long hair, and I think he looks daft.
He looks amazing. That's Arnie at his physical peak.
That's true.
Ripped.
I just think the hair's
absolutely ripped
on him.
See, I don't have a problem with the hair in it. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy movie, so him having short hair. Do you know actually the worst haircut Arnie has is when he's the Terminator and it's cut in that weird short thing, and it's that short and it's at the back and it looks like he's wearing a wig, which he probably is.
Beyond
that,
it's uncanny to see him. The worst haircut in Conan the Barbarian is one of the bad guys who looks like Bruce Dickinson from the middle 80s.
Wait, in this?
If we, no, in the Conan the Barbarian movie. If we ever, he's got a really low frame. If we ever watch it again, next time you come over, we need to watch it. And I'll show you.
I know who you're talking about. Now I've just clicked. It is Bruce Dickinson.
If you don't know who Bruce Dickinson is, he's the lead singer of Iron Maiden.
Yeah, it's not James L. Jones. It's who's the bad guy?
James L. Jones.
It is James L. Jones.
Yeah.
He's got a really bad haircut as well, isn't he? He's black and it's like cut. They've all got these weird like bowl haircut things going on.
Very He-Man.
Yes, he plays the snake priest Thulsa Doom. Love that movie.
But they're really great movies.
But again, like as you say, what possessed somebody to make a kids' cartoon about things with blood, sex, like death, gore?
So Conan's a big character, has been around a long time, and I guarantee you someone looked at this and thought, merchandising.
Sure.
Like they do with all cartoons.
Yeah.
We can make money out of it. So kids like... So He-Man, this was comparable to He-Man at the time. So He-Man, he's he's quite Conan-ish. He's got the physique, he's got the bad haircuts, he fights sword, and he's got fantasy, and he's got followers and all this. And so there is a direct correlation between He-Man and Conan the cartoon. Anyway,
I always thought that's how He-Man came apart. Is that somebody probably read the Conan, because He-Man read the Conan and thought, oh, how we can twist this and make this for kids.
I'm sure there's a
probably
the Toys That Made Us on He-Man that I know I'm fairly certain I've watched. But I don't
so you're saying
remember
He-Man was Conan fan fiction?
with more stupid haircuts. Yes.
Yeah.
So Conan has to guide, teach 3 children who have mystical stones. So I did quite a lot of reading on this today. Actually, I left this a little late, and I've watched the show, and I couldn't tell you any of their names.
Yeah.
One of them was called Nobber.
Nobber. One was called like something like Brick or Brit. Or...
Well, actually, I think it was probably Nova, but because of the way they said it, it sounded like Nobber. Or
like,
Noba.
Yeah,
Nobber, Dingle, and Spanky.
Yeah.
The eldest, his stone gave him invulnerable armor. He, I don't know if I didn't hear him say a phrase or rub the stone.
No,
it just
stone.
And he's in his really daft looking armor, and all I could think of was, you look like a dildo.
It's like Juggernaut.
Juggernaut, that's it. Yes.
As he was just running down the hallway with all the traps, that's what he looks like.
Arguably the most useful power out of the 3. So, and then the youngest one, he could talk to animals, which he used to great effect to talk to a ferret that he kept in a bag on his belt, and that's it. And then what was the girls? She
had illusions, but she didn't use it once.
They didn't use it, no.
Not a single time.
They didn't really use the boys either. His wasn't just talking to animals.
Yeah.
If I remember the title sequence.
This is control over animals he has. Like he can look through their eyes and stuff. I remember that because
Beastmaster.
Yeah.
So they stole his powers from Beastmaster.
Yeah, but
that's a terrible movie.
Yeah, the only one that used their powers throughout the whole show was Captain Dildo, and he just like storms her.
Right. We haven't even just explained the plot, but at some point in the plot, they get trapped in a corridor, and some spikes start descending.
Spikes are coming down,
and
but
then
fire.
And then fire is shooting very specifically and moving with them.
Yeah,
and he shields them with his body as the flamethrower tracks him through the corridor. I'm not quite sure about that one, but that's not how fire works. They would have just got all of them.
Yeah, if it had just like stayed on and only had one flamethrower.
Yeah.
That's the best trap. Just have a turret-mounted flamethrower right at the entrance, pointing forward.
So I'm going to try and describe the episode here, which is going to be really hard. So chip in if I'm getting it really wrong. They're in a port, and someone's been. Oh, and they meet a friend, one of Conan's ex-friends, who robs them.
Fat face, bad accent.
Yeah, who robs them because that's what you do. And then there's something about a crystal and people getting kidnapped and turned into demons. We'll get to that. And so they travel to this island to get the crystal, rescue something.
Get the crystal.
Yeah. Which is where they then are attacked by the demons, or not actually attacked by the demons. And they get in the castle, defeat the bad guy, and that was it. So Sulanara, the bad guy, yeah, she sucked.
Yep, they always do.
No, not. I mean, Skeletor sucked, but Skeletor ruled.
Yeah, Skeletor was scary.
And Mumra the Ever Living from Thundercats, he sucked, but he was cool. She just sucked. She had the shittest powers. The whole one snake eye thing just looked a bit daft because she looked like, I don't know, someone had kicked her in the nuts or something, because she got one eye really wide and the other one's just gnawing.
Yeah.
And then she shot laser beams out of one hand.
Laser beams that were easily deflected by swords.
Literally everything. Leaves.
Yeah, but that's it. Name and girl, bad guy.
Evil Lynn.
Just cool.
Evil Lynn. She was sexy as well.
Which one's Evil Lynn? Is she the one?
Evil Lynn's from He-Man. She's Skeletor's right-hand girl. And you can tell she's a bad girl.
Is she the one that looks like... Does she the one that looks like the actress out of Blake Seven? She's got really short black hair.
Yes.
Or it's the same. They all look exactly the same as the bad chick in Superman 2.
Yes.
They're really sexy, but they've all got really short black hair.
She wears a lot of purple. Evil Lynn. But she's a girl, and she's a bad... It's literally in her name that she's evil Lynn. And she's cool. But this one was... Silanara sucked. Right, I need to talk about the demons, because it was the shittest planet. So she was using the crystal to suck out people's life force.
I think there's some stuff we might have missed in earlier episodes, because I feel like she gets her powers from souls, right? And also,
this crystal does.
Yeah,
this crystal. She's specifically using the crystal, the MacGuffin from this episode, to take their souls and turn them into demons.
I said He-Man. I mean, Conan's sword does like one of the demons, or like the main demon dude, whatever his name is. They noticed the sword.
The one with wings.
Yeah, Grok or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Isn't it that sword though? Isn't
it was a special thing. It had a name.
It's
and
I
think the kind of material it was special. I don't know.
It's this Crom sword, so it'll be the two snakes that look.
No, that's Thulsa Doom's symbol. It's the snake
Is
cults.
it?
Yeah.
So I thought that.
No, I see where you get it from, but he's got this kind of weird
let me see if I can
design on the sword.
But yeah, I think there's some stuff we missed.
And that's just a steel sword. It's a +4 sharpness sword. So I want to talk about this. So she uses the crystals to suck out souls and turn people into demons. Okay, that's a great plan. She's going to build an army. She's got an army. She's got a good, 8 of them. She orders them to go and attack Conan, and they just kind of monkey shuffle at him and then look at him. I think one of them lays his hand on Conan, kind of just throws him away, and that's it. That's all they do. Then they whinge at him like big puppy dog eyes. Oh, or they hug a ferret.
Well, they're useless. That's the whole point.
So she's spent all this time and effort to find this crystal, learn the spell to suck others and turn them into demons, but she can't take over their minds. She's just got a bunch of useless people who look ugly. They look stupid. They were shit demons. One of them was blue, bright blue. Nothing wrong with a blue demon, but he was bright blue and looked like a blueberry with arms. It was a bad plan.
They were also really badly drawn as well. They looked like their muscles had literally been stuck on them. It was like they weren't drawn properly.
My third note down is, they did not spend money on the animation for this.
No, when I found out this was 1994, I'm like, Jesus.
It's shocking.
This looks like it's from the early 80s.
Conan's leather pants are well drawn.
They had practice.
Conan, one of the big things I noticed really early is that Conan looked weird because he's too groomed. His hair's perfect, and he's got beautiful sparkling blue eyes, and he's white teeth, and he speaks with an American. I was going to try and do an American accent, and almost came Australian. Yes, well, no, I'll give him that because Arnie had zero body hair as well in the movie. He just looked weird. I didn't like it. And then the kids all looked. The kids could not have looked more generic.
They all looked like they were from
Hanson.
No, what's the Village of the? Is it the Village of the Damned, where all the blonde kids all look exactly the same? All the corn kids.
Village of
the kids of the corn. Children of the corn.
No,
I think they're all blonde as well.
I know the one you mean. So they changed. We've already mentioned this. So as comparing Conan the Adventurer version with the original Conan stories in the Marvel Comics, this one displays a high degree of modern morality. The original Conan is a thief, a killer, both hot and cold, a philanderer, and he's literally a thief. That's what he does for a living.
Yep.
This one has it claims that it is wrong to steal. He refuses to strike unarmed or defeated opponents. He's kind and caring, a little bit naive. He stands up for his friends and what he is what he sees to be right, and is very respectable. So nothing like the original Conan whatsoever.
But he agrees to help steal this. Even though it's off a bad guy, he still helps to steal the diamond, the crystal for his mate.
Well, they didn't say that we're going to steal it.
Yeah, he was just going to get it because
he just knew it was on the
had
island,
it, and
yeah, but his mate was going to sell it. That was what he was getting it for. His mate said
he was never going to let his mate sell it.
No, but
I was hoping that when Sir Dickhead, he told him about his boat. I was hoping that it wasn't his to begin with, because he said like some thieves stole my boat.
I don't think it was.
Well, I mean, he
does.
explicitly explained that he had just stolen it, and he doesn't care that it's his now, and Conan was like, oh, maybe you civilized people. I don't know what you civilized people call it, but we barbarians call it stealing or something. Something lame.
I mean, the original movie Conan punched a camel. Okay, I want more of that. So that first fight scene, I didn't have high expectations, but the fight scene was crap. So that him and the bad guy, they square up. The bad guy pulls a sword, and going to see a sword fight. And then Conan swings his sword once, smashes the sword, and instead of just stabbing him to death like Conan would have done, they wrestle a little bit, and then he throws him into a barrel or something. It's rubbish.
And Conan said he wouldn't rush into a fight.
That's literally what Conan does.
I don't know if they're taking the piss.
This is making me want to watch the Arnie movie.
Yeah.
It really is. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
How many movies are there? Like 9?
There's 2 Arnie movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there is Red Sonja, which has got Arnie in it, but he's not Conan in it. He just looks like Conan, speaks like Conan, acts like Conan, but isn't actually Conan. He's Prince, I don't know, Philip.
And then there's the Jason Momoa one.
Then the Jason Momoa one, yep.
And then isn't there another one after that, or a TV series or something?
He may have made.
There
a TV
was
series.
a 1997 TV series, a live-action TV series.
Oh, I think they've rebooted that.
Also called Conan the Adventurer.
Because Barbarian's too racy.
Well,
I never watched any of them.
He was Conan the something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he's Conan the Destroyer.
That's right. In the second movie, he's Conan the Destroyer, so he's Conan the King, Conan the Sumerian, or whatever it is.
Conan the Courtesan.
Conan the bloodthirsty killing machine. So
Conan the PC.
I drew. Right. So bear with me. This whole episode, if someone described it to me as being something they just run with their D&D group, for a low-level character, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, it did feel very story.
It is. It was. So they run into the quest giver, who's a bit of a rogue. I saw them pass charisma tests. I saw them pass constitution checks. There was a perception test when he noticed the gold was being nicked.
Conan's player was playing well with group dynamics and role-playing quite well.
I think Conan's player was a significantly higher level than everyone else is, including the bad guy. The DM screwed up. Yeah, the DM screwed up and didn't make the bad guys high enough level.
If this plot was an actual D&D game, I think it would be quite good. It'd be quite average. Well, it seems like that. But as a kid's cartoon,
it is. If you told me somebody had made this cartoon after playing a game, I would believe you.
Yeah.
This was someone's poor attempt to animate and make their fairly mundane, boring dungeon run interesting. Even the traps, the bad guys, that was it. Charisma check when they were talking to the demons. Someone rolled a natural 20 there.
Yeah.
Which is why the demons didn't. There wasn't much of a fight.
Talked their way out of it.
Mm-hmm. So the AV Club website, which was almost like an online newspaper, called this show, like its predecessor, that it has been significantly defanged, dumbed down, and infantilized the character to the degree that he's robbed of his savage appeal, which I think is a very fair assessment.
It's pretty obvious.
In 2009, Topless Robot, another entertainment website, featured this particular cartoon Conan from this show in the list of its 8 dumbest barbarian heroes. Which did make me laugh.
Do you know the guy who played Conan in this?
Do you know what? I saw his face, and I saw the name, and I cannot remember who he is. But that sounds familiar. Oh, so this was made by Sunbow Entertainment and aired on CBS. Now, we've heard Sunbow, we've watched the Sunbow Entertainment shows before on Serial Viewing. It was produced and developed by someone called Christy Marks. Does anyone remember the name?
Yeah.
Yep. So she created Gem and the Holograms.
Yep.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, all kinds of stuff. So this is our second Christy Marks joint.
Fair. Yeah. Christy Marks was in. Yeah. Never mind. My brain kind of spazzed.
Thank you. I actually heard you brain fart.
Anyway.
Jeremy. So my only note about the score was, I think whoever wrote the score was getting paid by the note, because it was constant and loud and all over the place. It didn't shut up throughout the entire episode. What was your opinion on the score?
I mean, yes, I agree. It was quite loud, and I knew you were going to mention that.
It wouldn't shut up.
There were some bits that weren't too bad, though. Like, they reflected the scene. They were quite thematic, and they had this kind of like spatial thing about the songs that was sort of, it's difficult to describe to people who don't do music production, but it left plenty of space for the like the actual scene. Yeah, it was annoying and loud, but in certain places. But then other places it was really dumb and fast paced, and
I found it distracting through most of the episode.
I didn't.
I think in the beginning it was okay.
It was very much like it's very much like the movie, and it's that same classical. It was quite reminiscent of that. I didn't find it distracting. It was in the background all the time, but I didn't find anything distracting about that.
You were too busy ogling Conan.
Yeah.
I was too busy watching something else.
I was eating my dinner, so.
So, who would win in a fight? Conan the from this show, or I forgot his name.
Conan in the actual movies.
No, what's his name? Oh, Chuck Norris. Cartoon Chuck Norris. Cartoon Chuck Norris or Cartoon Conan?
Oh, I have to say Cartoon Conan.
For longevity reasons, Cartoon Conan.
See, I don't know.
Because there were only about 3 Chuck Norris episodes, weren't there? Ooh,
5.
They had a really lame female bad guy in that one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. I think Cartoon Chuck Norris would win.
He's got too many friends. I think
Cartoon Conan he's too nice.
The racist sumo guy would beat Conan up. Or eat the kids.
Eat the kids.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back.
So if this was a D&D adventure, which character is yours? Which character?
How do you mean, which one I would play?
Yeah, no, which one would be?
I'm always the dungeon master now, so.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but right. I mean, well, I feel like if I was any of the kids, I would use the abilities. Actually use them.
That's another thing that made me compare it to D&D, is that because I envisioned the kids as being young, or not young, but new players, and they don't know their abilities, so they don't use them through
they forget.
Yeah.
They forget what all their spells are.
But the barbarian, because the barbarian is the best. That's why.
Yes, barbarian. Because he's got a broadsword.
Broadsword.
Watch that guy. He's great.
Although it's not a broadsword, is it? It's a short sword, isn't it?
It's not a short sword.
Not a short sword. What is it?
I suppose you could describe it as a long sword. I would suggest you could describe it as a long sword. No, long swords weren't actually that long.
Wait, long swords were
a bastard sword.
Bastard sword. Yes, because he does use it two-handed sometimes.
So it's hand and half, right?
It's the Atlantean sword, apparently.
Surely it is a broadsword then, because it is broad.
No.
That once belonged to an ancient king.
That is what a broadsword is, though, isn't it? A wide blade.
I'm not getting into a sword. We don't have enough time.
Okay,
check it out check it out. Serial Swords, new podcast. Or sword viewing.
Blade viewing, yeah.
Sword viewing, that works.
Sword and board. Anyway.
A sword and a board.
New podcast name, I call it Sword and Board.
One thing that this show does have it gets a point for me is that it doesn't have a comedic sidekick.
Well,
I'm looking at you, Schnarf from Thundercats, and Urko from Orko.
Not as obvious. There's not like one person dedicated to it, but I think the youngest kid is that annoying kid, and then the weasel is like, or whatever it is that sort of kid friendly.
Well, I was fully expecting that once we got to the end of the episode, someone was going to say something. They were going to stand around in a circle going, ha 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 ha. And then we're going to get a Conan voiceover. Remember, kids,
don't play with swords.
True barbarians don't suck the souls out of their fates and turn them into a demonic army. It just, that time frame and this, it kept reminding me of things like Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
And that I was fully expecting that.
I still can't believe it came out in 1994, same year as Gargoyles.
It does. You're right. It does feel like a much earlier show.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know all of it, the animation, the script, the score, it just feels like a much. I wonder if it'd be interesting to watch the prequel to this, Conan the Adventurer, and see if the style is the same.
You mean if they copied like the assets over?
Yeah. Conan looks exactly the same as he does in that one. I know that because I read it. But was it the same writers? Was it the same quality? If it was the same quality, that amazes me because that ran for 65 episodes. And they obviously thought it was good enough to spin off into this.
Yeah, but in the early 90s, late 80s, nobody gave a shit about what the cartoon looked like, especially the kids watching it.
There's cool sidekicks.
As a kid, you never would have looked at it and gone, oh, this is really badly made.
All right.
And the adults weren't watching it.
When I was young, this was a little late for me, but I was a huge He-Man fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but ignoring that, comparing He-Man to Conan and the Young Warriors, He-Man is just better. The animation, as much as the animation in He-Man had its flaws.
Yes.
The animation was no different. It was just shit.
It was
the
terrible.
Story was maybe
not the animation, the character designs. The demons were awful. The kids were, you couldn't get any more generic. The Burke, whatever his name was, the thief friend of Conan.
Sir Fatman.
His character design was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And the bag, I mean, it was just...
It was also inconsistent, because there were points in where he was wearing his cloak and he looked skinnier than when he wasn't, and he was really fat. And it was inconsistent. And
considering that He-Man is older than this, there's no excuse for the shoddy quality of this.
Yeah, they could have given the sorceress woman like way cooler like facial thing, like maybe because it was obviously some lizard thing on the side of her hand, like you know she was scaly and like,
she was like half,
make like the half
lizard.
of her face like a lizard or something, you know,
instead of just a snake eye, like a big whacking great snake eye in the middle of her face.
She's got a googly eye.
That's what it looked like. She just looked really... It was poor. I'm offended by the character design specifically. The animation was fine for what it was, but it's just for 1994, it wasn't good enough.
How long was Babylon 5 around in 1994?
Yeah.
Let's go CGI.
Yeah, that would have been very expensive at the time.
And scary. It looked like money for nothing, Conan.
So, I mean, they could reboot this like today with better animation, which wouldn't be hard, and make it interesting.
Maybe merge the two shows together, so like it's a follow-on from like those two. So
perhaps the kids themselves are just not interesting.
Well, they're not.
We've got to protect them. Whatever.
Like you said, they're boring character designs and they suck.
So we mentioned the music. We mentioned how shit I think it was. The name Conan the Adventurer, which was the sequel, this was the sequel to, was originally the name of a series of short stories published in the 1960s.
Mm.
So the name's not even original. It was also used as the name of the 1997 live-action TV series, which I only got a chance to look at the cover for that, and it looks as bad as you would expect it to be.
I just did as well.
That's another one. I think you're looking at the same time period as Conan the Barbarian. Conan the Adventurer. You also had Xena Warrior Princess. And the Legend of Hercules, which were huge. Was Legend of Hercules or Hercules? The Kevin Sorbo one. Anyway, these huge fantasy things, and then you just look at the cover of that. It's like, really?
When did Farscape come out?
Mid to late 90s, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So about the same time.
It's the same sort of like. Obviously, Farscape's better, but it's the same sort of like look, like kind of like real plasticky kind of. Like.
Yeah. The Farscape series, though, I think that's an Australian-made one. I think. I'm not entirely sure.
How do you not know? It's your favourite series.
Yeah, it is, but I can't remember.
Hasbro released a line of Conan the Adventurer action figures.
You shock me. Conan the Adventurer?
Yeah, not for this one, because I don't think they had time.
Yeah.
But they were quite cool, actually. I had a quick look. They were He-Man-esque.
Mm.
They weren't quite as grotesquely as muscly as a lot of the He-Man characters was, but they were. So, do you know what? I keep mentioning it. Don't watch this show.
Just watch
Don't bother. Just watch He-Man. It is
if you really
better it is better in every way than it is. You've got a giant muscly man in furry underpants and a big sword. Go watch that. Don't bother with this.
Yeah, to be honest. I mean, that's what we were like kind of drawing a conclusion to. And the fact that He-Man is all the same things this is, but as we've already said, it better. This must have inspired it, like, directly. It was the same thing. It was the same cash grab, the same principle. Like, I don't know how well Conan and the Adventurers did, but, like, that was...
Conan the Adventurer was quite popular.
Fine, because it was like an alternative to He-Man, so you just kids get more of the same thing, and you could probably interchange the action things. This just, when you have shows like Batman and the 90s darkness kind of coming in, a guy in woolly underpants with a sword, deflecting like crappily drawn laser beams,
and it's they took the edge out. If they'd left the edge in, I mean, I'm not saying you can't have him like slaughtering people left, right, and centre, but Batman, the animated show was fantastic.
Yeah, they should have gone the other way. They should have made this one edgier than the last one, because the kids who had watched the Conan Adventurers would have grown up even older and wouldn't have been interested in a kids show, whereas like the kids, it's irrelevant for them anymore. Like,
and it's a failure of the script that at no point during the show was there any peril.
Mm-hmm.
It was there's some demons. Yeah, don't worry about it. Oh, there's a fire. Just walk through. It's fine. Oh no, she's got him tied up. No, don't worry about it. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't want to feel like Conan was in trouble.
No, nobody felt like they were in trouble at any point. Well, no, Burke or whatever his name was when he was hanging off the wall, but that was his own fault. I can't remember his name, and I don't care. I mean, I think it's fairly obvious how I feel about this. But would you recommend Conan and the Young Warriors to anyone?
Probably not.
No. So you, Jennifer, you wouldn't recommend this to parents of a 10-year-old? Go watch this. A bit harmless fun.
Not really, no.
There's better stuff to watch. And Jeremy,
Yeah, there's loads of better stuff.
would you recommend this? You're all tanked up on a Saturday afternoon with your mates.
Again, I think He-Man is a better alternative if we were to watch something like
Just
this.
go.
He-Man, or even the first series. Like, this one's just crap. However, now you've said, like, Dungeons and Dragons, I would watch it and take notes from Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm
things.
sure we're going to see each other over Christmas. I want you to turn this into a one-shot D&D adventure.
I can do
for
that.
for low-level characters. Pre-generate the characters. There you go. You're the barbarian. You're the guy with dildo armor. You're the chick who does the thing that she does.
It's just hero quest.
Broadsword.
Yeah, you've got a broad soul.
And you're massively, you're level 20 already, and everybody's level 1.
Yeah, Conan's going to be like level ridiculous.
You can roll a 2 and chop her face off.
Yeah, and then the bad guy can be level 5.
You make Conan level 20, but he's only got like 1 fate point, so he didn't do anything. Doesn't go into a fight or anything.
No, yeah. He's a general. He just tells them what to do from a distance.
Yeah.
I can do that.
And it's only got furry armpits. It's only got furry underpants on, so his armor score is like -1.
See, he's a barbarian, so his AC would be quite high.
Are we
just for
nerding out?
His sheer muscularity.
Swords still penetrate that pretty easy.
Such sauce. Yeah, we don't recommend Conan the Barbarian, so we're going to rate it out of 10. Jeremy.
2.7.
Why? Where did I want to defend that 0.7?
Well, I couldn't make my mind up between 2 or 3, and then my mind popped 4, so I'm like,
So a 2.7 from Jeremy. Jennifer?
It can have 2 because it employed some people and gave them some jobs. That's it.
yeah,
Well,
food for the masses.
it's a 1 from me.
1. Worse than Wurzel Gummidge.
I nearly was going to say a 1, but I'm not that mean, so it gets a 2 because it employed some people.
I can't do that now.
There are some people out there that have this on their CV.
And then scrub it off.
Which gives it an overall rating of 1.9, which is Wurzel Gummidge depths of poor.
I feel like I've rated something 0 that I hated.
No, I don't think so. Not the rating itself.
I definitely rated, like, music 0 or something for once.
I'm also have to say the original Wurzel Gummidge is way better than this.
I would rather watch this than Wurzel Gummidge.
Oh no.
I'd rather watch
God,
the
no.
entire 13 episodes with my eyes not blinking.
I'd rather watch Jeremy cut his toenails than watch Wurzel Gummidge.
I'd rather cut my toenails than watch Wurzel.
Okay, so we've rated it a 1.9. I want both of you to pick one thing out of the show, even if you've got to make it up, that you thought was good.
The D&D plotline.
The way Conan looks.
Do I have to get you a cardboard cutout of Conan?
He's a proper hottie.
In any form.
His muscles seem to be getting bigger as time went on as well. He's like
He wasn't
more and
big
more
enough.
up, like
Yeah.
top heavy.
That's because he was drinking his protein shakes.
Yeah. And not fighting.
So Conan himself, Jeremy reckons the comparison to D&D.
Yeah, the D&D storylines and plot pits.
Fair enough. So that was Conan the Barbarian. If you're brave enough to watch this steaming pile of crap, can you please let us know? We want to know what you think of Conan and the Young Warriors. Do you agree with us? Do you like it? Did you used to watch this back in the day? Do you have fond memories? Were you dropped on your head? Let us know. You can contact us on the website.
Say that, Henry.
serialviewing.com. You can email us, serialviewing@gmail.com. You can contact me through Facebook. Zero Viewing or on our Instagram page. There are so many ways to get in touch with us. Please do. If you appreciate the show and you want to support the show, you can buy us a coffee. There's a link on our website, or you can go have a look at the truly transcendental, the amazing, really good merchandise on our store. You can get t-shirts, hoodies, phone covers, stickers, mugs,
flash sale,
face covers, flash sale. Yeah. Yeah. So it's out there. So if you'd like to support the show, please go and take a look. Can anyone remember what we're watching next? I can.
I know.
Down at Fraggle Rock. We're watching Fraggle Rock, and I am excited.
So the steaming pile of garbage that's in the back of the Fraggle Rock is on top of the Fraggle Rock, or wherever the Fraggles live. That is better than this cartoon today.
This low is just going to make Fraggle Rock even better.
Fraggle Rock is like, oh.
Let's get in and see how much the score it gets.
We shall see.
Oh, it's going to get like 1 million points just for the theme tune.
Yeah.
Down at Fraggle Rock.
And you got the little Bowsers.
Oh, I love the Dozers.
Dozers, I mean, not Bowsers.
They were my favourite thing. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Conan the Young Warriors, we didn't like it. Please tell us if you did, or if you agree with us.
You did that already.
I know. I'm repeating myself. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Join us next time for Fraggle Rock. We're very, very excited to watch that. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer, do I need to buy some furry Conan pants?
Yeah.
And wear them for the next episode of Zero Viewing.
Ugh. I'll get the YouTube channel taken down. Oh yes, we have a YouTube channel. You can watch us live. You can see our beautiful, beautiful faces.
Not live.
As well, not live. Well, no, live. This is live action. I'm not animated.
Live.
Yeah, we're on YouTube as well. You can find full episodes and then the behind-the-scene, unedited version of the show on there as well. So please do that. Thank you very much. Thanks, you guys, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Adios.
Time when there is great peril in the world, the barbarian Conan is called upon to protect 3 young warriors whose destiny is to someday rule the land of Hyboria.